general question. I'm assuming the answer's going to be yes, but would you be down for Steve and Nancy getting back together?
I didn't think I would be.
There has to be a good reason. You have to justify it in the storyline. You can't just...
Okay, it'll have to come as we discuss the episode. So I'm going to pretend that I haven't watched ahead, and we're just going to go for these 2 episodes. So when I first watched this episode, I remember that moment happened. Steve stepped out of the car, and Nancy looked at him, and I turned to Steven, and I was like, was that a moment? Did they just have a moment, or am I reading too much into this? I swear there was a moment there. And Steven's like, no, I think there was a moment. And I was like, And at first I was just kind of like intrigued. I was like, are they really bringing Stancy back after 3 seasons? Are they really going to go there again? And at first I was just very confused because I was like, I thought we were done with this, like season 3 pretty much made it seem like they were done.
Name as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
I know because I know the Jonathan and Nancy ship name because I saw that on Twitter earlier. Because there's I won't
Jancy.
say any more, but there's an interview with Charlie Heaton in one of the magazines. But
okay,
I won't say any more because it's.
So the thing is, I thought I was done with the Steve and Nancy ship. Like, I really did. Like, she chose Jonathan in season 2. I decided that Steve deserved someone who really wanted to be with him. Season 3 came and went. He said in season 3 that he was over her. They didn't really interact in season 3, so it was like, okay, they're done. I mean, we all know that I really loved them in season 1 because I found them more organic and more natural than Jonathan and Nancy. So when the moment happened, it was like my heart just kind of did a little bit of a jump, and I was like, is this going back where I think it is? Am I going to be sucked back into this ship? And yeah, I have to say I have been. I didn't mean to. I didn't want to. I never thought that this ship would come back, and I still don't know where it's headed. I don't know whether or not they'll get together at the end of a season. I don't even know if that's what I want, but I am enjoying the crumbs. Let's just say I'm enjoying the crumbs. If they don't lead anywhere, then they don't lead anywhere. But if they do, then yeah, I'm on board with this.
Because
it works for me.
I have something to say and a prediction as well. First of all, I'm actually on board with it, and I'll tell you why. Because of the writing, but the reason I'm sort of down for it is because I think it could be a good arc for Steve. Ultimately, if you say he started off as someone who's quite immature, maybe not right for her at the start of the show, which I know you disagree with, but that's sort of my view on it, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. But if you say that's his starting point, I actually quite like that the arc is that maybe by the end of the show, they've sort of grown back together where they both changed as people, because obviously she made mistakes as well. She's matured as a person.
I actually agree with what you're saying.
So I actually like that as an arc where, maybe Jonathan and Nancy naturally grow apart, and you could have a more mature Steve, a more mature Nancy, and they come together sort of thing. I do like that.
I agree with that viewpoint. I actually do. Look, I don't think Steve was as immature as you think, but I do think that when he and Nancy first started, they were teenagers. And teenagers are dumb. And they need time to mature and for their brains to mature and for things to get together. And I think the thing with Steve and Nancy, and I think I'm realizing this now more as I look back and with some of what's happening this season, is I think what happened is she was so caught up with Barb's death and everything that happened with it and her guilt. But I think that Steve himself became a trigger for her, because that does happen. Sometimes certain events in your life or certain periods where certain people are, those people, just by being there, can become triggers for you, can be a constant memory of what happened. And so I think that's what happened with Nancy. Is it wasn't that she didn't like Steve or that she didn't want to be with Steve. I think her trauma got in the way so badly. And because Jonathan had lost his brother and had gone through similar trauma, they trauma bonded and she, in a way that she wasn't able to bond with Steve because there were so many bad emotions. So I agree that both of them going off, maturing, becoming better, versions of themselves, and then finding each other again, I think that really works. I think I want this season to end for Nancy as far as romance goes. I either want her to end single, to say to both boys, look, I need some time to myself, or I want kind of an open-ended kind of like she and Steve are on the road to getting back together, but they're not quite there yet because she and Jonathan still have to break up. And I don't want her to cheat on Jonathan with Steve, because we've played that storyline before. But I think it would be better if like she breaks up with Jonathan and then there's like an open-ended kind of thing for her and Steve to then go forward. But I don't necessarily think that it would be organic for them to instantly get back together this season because they still have some growing to do and some things to sort out. But it could be interesting going forward. But I had no idea the ship was going to rise up and steal my heart again, though, because like I've just I have just fallen for it again, hook, line, and sinker. I'm gone.
It seemed unlikely, didn't it? Then they would go back to that. Because I mean, at this point, they could be just swerving us. I mean, it could be that they're just putting it there to swerve prediction. And this is why I don't think it will happen. And that's because I think it will be revealed that Nancy is well, either gay or bi. And I think Nancy will go with Robin.
I have seen that. You know what? I have seen
prediction.
That theory.
I'm sure I've seen that.
I am on board with Robin and Nancy. That's another dynamic I never knew I needed until this episode when they go to the library and like Robin's like chat, and Nancy's just like, okay, dude, you got to shut up. Love their dynamic. Can totally see it happen. Could totally ship it 100% because they've got great chemistry. However, a friend of mine pointed something out, and I think she's right. Would Robin really date her best friend's ex, whom she knows he's still in love with? That doesn't seem like something Robin would do. And we also know that Robin already has her crush. So, characterized narratively, I don't know if it would work for Robin to date. I mean, Steve's her best friend. She loves Steve, and I don't know that she would date his ex-girlfriend.